Morning.
Good morning.
Today's the 17th, Friday. May rain, may not rain. Welcome. Good to see you. Nice vest.
Thank you very much.
Brandon's vest collection.
Yeah.
First of all, we did receive some good feedback for potential more in-depth topics. And so thank you to everyone. We're going to incorporate those. I think one that you actually got from one of
even
your
from
friends.
one of our fans up north of Seattle. Oof. I know. We have fans all over the place. Some good feedback, maybe explaining a little deeper about what the different departments and areas of government do, how we work. What's an ad hoc committee? What's a closed session?
Well, yeah, I think it's great because we take for granted that we know what Public Works does or community activities, but kind of the basics of local government, especially for our new residents and our new viewers, I think will be helpful. So thank you. Thank you.
We'll start incorporating that into the programming here.
And we had lunch with Michael Buffo, who produces these things, professionally, and he had some very kind feedback for us, but some really good suggestions. So thank you, Mike. We're going to try to incorporate. Sebastian, maybe we have a lead-in page or just a drop-in page.
Yeah, make this a little more polished.
Yeah.
Not that we're not already polished and professional.
Highly polished.
Yeah.
We prepared this talk 4 minutes ago. So thank you. I wanted to start off by talking a little bit about ad hoc committees and Brandon, because we've been espousing the merits of ad hoc committees for months now, and the council has set up ad hoc committees. And ad hoc committees are allowed under the Brown Act. Typically, what local government does is we do the people's work in front of the people. At agendized and noticed meetings. The Brown Act does have a provision for ad hoc committees would be a non-majority of council members, in our case, no more than 2, where we live, not together,
Good joke.
no more than 3 in Pacific Grove. And so these are committees that are set up for a specific topic for a specific period of time. So they are kind of time limited. When they're done with their homework assignment, the committees go away. So they don't go on ad nauseum, ideally. And our council has really taken a great interest in this. And the meetings they don't have to be public, but they often are public in our community. But they're a little less formal. So you're going to talk a little bit about our wine tasting ad hoc, which we had earlier this week, which is around a table. I know Mary was here, and Mary Schley was here.
From the Pine Cone.
And a great number of our vintner growers as well. And it's an opportunity for the ad hoc to become more familiarized in an informal setting with staff about a particular topic. And then they actually become almost advocates for when a decision comes before the full council for a decision. So ad hocs don't make any final decisions. They're kind of gleaning information, asking questions, drilling down, getting to the more, the substance level of a particular topic. The council, do you know how many ad hoc committees that we have set up right now?
Oh, I should know off the top of my head because I feel like I'm involved in most of them, but I'm going to hazard a guess, maybe like 10?
Oh my, you're the winner.
Did I guess right?
10. Oh. We have 10 ad hoc committees. Everything
really was a guess.
From, paramedic and fire services to housing, outdoor wine tasting, Flanders Mansion, board and commissioner training, the flock camera system, the Mills Act, all the topics that we deal with. The council says we need a little bit more time, again, in a less formal setting to get some more information. So that's kind of the background information-wise. Hopefully that was helpful about ad hoc.
Yeah.
And again, we do most of the time. These meetings are public meetings. They're less formal. Sometimes they're noticed. Sometimes they're recorded. Sometimes they're live broadcast. Sometimes they're not. There's no formal setting for how we do these. And so my update on an ad hoc is the police department ad hoc, and that is Mayor Potter and Councilmember Barron. We met earlier this week with our team about what a renovated, new fill-in-the-blank police department looks like. And so we had a great meeting. We're going to come back in a couple of weeks. The ad hoc committee asked a litany of very, very good questions of myself and my colleagues, and so we'll come back, and eventually we're aiming for a report to the full council in January or maybe February on a going forward, how we go forward with a severely outdated police department, one that doesn't serve either our fine officers or our residents. So that's my update on the PD ad hoc. Just a couple of notes here. We do have a special farmers market next Wednesday. Thank you, Ashley and Leslie, for putting that together. Just on Mission Street immediately prior to Thanksgiving, normal times. And we have a litany of vendors who will be out there. And then just a reminder that we do have home crafters in the North Lot at Sunset tomorrow, rain or shine.
That's right. Only thing that's going to stop it is high winds.
High winds.
And those are not in the forecast.
Not in the forecast. So we were watching them carefully because the tents with people underneath them could blow. But no high winds predicted. Rain or shine tomorrow, 9 to 3, North Lot at Sunset. Hope to see you out there. Yeah. That's what I got, buddy.
That's great. I'll continue the ad hoc conversation a little bit. I know you're a trivia nerd like I am,
yes.
Chip. Ad hoc is Latin.
Oh.
Do you know what it actually translates to? For this. I'm just going to jump in.
For this.
So that kind of tees off of what you were talking earlier. Ad hocs are set up for a very specific purpose, and then they're done. It's for this. So I always thought that was kind of interesting. You're welcome. Yeah, for this.
Great.
You're welcome. So we had a Monday ad hoc meeting about housing. Our housing ad hoc committee met on Monday. We discussed some of the bigger comments we received from the state during their 90-day review. We got a 9-page letter versus most jurisdictions that got between 25 and 30 pages.
Yeah.
So we're doing okay. I'm actually quoted in the weekly saying I'm not losing any sleep over a 9-page letter, which is true. I feel like we're going to be able to respond to that very, very well. So we talked about some of those responses.
And I like you led by talking about what a great job our own staff, Marty and Catherine especially, did in preparing the draft document, presenting to council, presenting to the Planning Commission, presenting to the ad hoc, and then working through the 90-day period with HCD so that we didn't get a 25-page letter. So well done. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a testament to how good of a job they
100%.
did. So we're working on doing those updates in response to the state comments with a hope of getting it back in front of council just as sort of like a last look before we send it off to the state, either mid-December or early January, because we have to have it certified by the mid-April.
April 15th.
April 15th.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we tentatively have it on the typical council agenda for the 5th of December. So ideally, that's our target.
That's our target. Yep. Right. Then Tuesday, we had an outdoor wine tasting in private spaces ad hoc committee comprised of the mayor and councilmember Barron. It was really productive. This was the first public meeting of that ad hoc committee. The outcome of that was we're going to continue. It seemed like it was positive from the ad hoc committee, a positive recommendation. Let's take a look and see how the world has changed with an eye towards probably some recommendations coming about, how we might allow a little bit of outdoor wine tasting in private spaces. Research to do. We need to look at the policy where we're currently following policy and where reality doesn't currently follow policy, and is there a reason why? What sections of code would need to be amended? What are the impacts? How do other cities that have outdoor wine tasting
that's the
handle
big
it?
one. How does St. Helena or Calistoga or fill in the blank deal with it?
Yeah, so a little more research. We'll be back in January, February timeframe with another public ad hoc committee on wine tasting.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest takeaways I had was from Mr. Barron, where he talked about, even though these are private, the courtyards, every commercial block, every block in the commercial district, with the exception of 2, have interblock walkways. And these are part of the spaces that are being used for the private outdoor wine tasting. And I think one of the biggest takeaways I had was that Mr. Barron suggested that they not look like private spaces. So making sure that, we have a limit on the size, the number of seats perhaps, so that the public feels like they can continue to explore those interblock walkways without feeling that they're going into a private space or a private event or activity.
Yeah, well said. That's so important. I mean, those interblock walkways are such an important part of our character. And then really quickly, I'll touch on Wednesday because I feel like we're already going long on this today, but a lot of good information. Wednesday, we had a special meeting of the Planning Commission to discuss our draft ADU ordinance. That went really well.
What does ADU stand for? Accessory
dwelling unit.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
and I feel like it was well received. We took all of the general policy guidance we've had over the last couple of years from the Planning Commission and tried to distill that into an ordinance. Great feedback from the community. We had about 17, 18 people here in the room, another 15 or so on Zoom, and everybody was really engaged the whole time.
Yeah.
So we got some feedback. There's a couple of policy choices we're making about trying to limit some square footage that we think we have standing within our local coastal program. And the Coastal Act of California to do. We need to have those serious conversations with the state Housing and Community Development Department, HCD. So more to come on that, but it was a good meeting.
I feel like I have to comment on everything today because I'm jacked up on coffee, but
you're doing great, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But here's an instance where we will be pushing back on the state.
I think so.
Let's face it. We think that we can limit the size of an ADU on our small parcels, so that collectively the square footage does not exceed what we allow on a traditional parcel size.
And the general basis for that is our coastal program and the California Coastal Act look at what we have here as a coastal resource, the trees, the beach, the land, the special species that we have. And so the concept is basically our coastal program and the Coastal Act say protect those things. Allowing 2,800, 3,000 square feet of development on a 4,000 square foot lot does not accomplish those California State Coastal Act goals.
It changes the character.
It does.
Yeah.
So that's our rationale. And so we need to have that conversation with the HCD folks at the state. So that was some interesting ad hoc and public meeting work this week. I want to let people know we will be closed next Thursday and Friday for the Thanksgiving holiday. All of the important services, the city, police, fire, all that stuff, still operating.
And thank you.
And thank you very much for that. But in general, services at City Hall will not be available next Thursday and Friday. And then the last thing I want to share with everyone, we'll have a link on there today. I came across an interesting thing from the Monterey Bay Air Resources District, MBARD. They started a new rebate program called the Landscape Equipment Exchange Program, or LEAP. And you can get up to 80% of the purchase price of exchanging your gas lawn equipment. So, think a trimmer, lawnmower, whatever. 80% of that purchase price up to $300 for most equipment. Some, up to $2,000 for like a ride-on lawnmower. But let's face it, no one's riding a lawnmower in the city of Carmel-by-the-Sea. No size for that. But you can get up to $300 rebate for a new, electric trimmer. So go check that out. We'll link it today. It's a great, environmental program. We're always trying to look at ways to help out the environment around here because it's so important. So we'll link that today, but that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, we bought a new electric truck, I think, yesterday. So
for the city.
For the city.
That's great.
City. Yeah, that was part of the council's goals and objectives, obviously.
Yeah, we've got the electric vehicles for all of our inspection fleet here in community planning and building, and
get an electric bike for public works. So
that's great. Yeah, that's great. Well, that's what I got.
All right.
Okay, so I guess
take good care.